All right, we're back with another energized. Oh, that you see what I did there.
We don't even have any more. We don't even have any more battery puns. We don't even have any more battery puns for you, but we do have some exciting people that are coming on to talk about a product that was put in front of us, and I will be very honest with you guys, I did everything I could to crush these guys. The first time we talked to them, I grilled Paul, which we'll introduce Paul in a moment, and then I still didn't believe it. We tested some of the stuff ourselves, and it does what they say it does with what we tested it. So we decided, hey guys, we want to have you on because we want to talk about this possible solution for batteries.
Right. So I think we'll start with Paul. You're from LifeSafe Technologies. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So yeah, great to be here, first of all. And hopefully this is less of a grilling than I got the first time. You're right. It was painful.
Well, you got to understand, I get tremendous joy in crushing what we consider to be snake oil entering the market that we're in, and you guys proved not to be snake oil. So it's actually very refreshing. I was actually really annoyed when we got off that first meeting, and I was like, God damn it, I couldn't get anything out of them.
So I was really pleased. So Paul Jameson, I am the Chief Commercial Officer from LifeSafe Technologies, and we are the guys that provide real fluids that are not snake oil.
I like it. And then we also have Amy here.
Amy,
Hi, I'm Amy Choi. I'm from Fire Suppression Solutions. I'm the CEO, and our mission is really to deliver innovative, reliable fire suppression solutions that safeguard lives and property. So that's what we're all about. We have a ton of experience, decades of experience in public safety, firefighters, police, EMTs, and we're just here to serve and promote great products that we've tested ourselves, because we too did test it and try and poke a lot of holes in it before we ever came to you, because we knew you were going to be tough.
Well, listen, our the end users who we're here for, so it we have to be, right? Like it just is what it is. Amy, how did you guys become connected from the fire solutions to life safety? What's that relationship look like?
Yeah, so Paul and the team had reached out to Fire Suppression Solutions. They had heard about another product that we bring into the country for FSTs and wanted to talk with us a bit and get connected. And we really realized after talking that our missions are aligned and we have the ability to help promote their product through all the rigorous testing that we do also. And so it's been a great partnership ever since.
I just want to add into there, actually, that the shared values is really important to us. So it wasn't about finding the biggest or the brightest, the color, whatever it was.
Thanks.
It was about finding the best and the best fit, because you are the brightest, not mentally. It was colors.
Sorry.
You're making it worse.
It was all about that. Anyway, it was all about that.
One of the problems we're having here is that the lithium-ion batteries, they're all over the place. It's a hot topic, and there hasn't been any really good solutions until you guys at LifeSafe and FSS came along. Paul, can you give us an explanation of how this stuff called TRF plus fluid works on these battery incidents?
Absolutely, and I think it's probably worth saying that the fluid was developed because nobody else was putting a product together other than traditional fluids that exist and then trying to repurpose them. We developed this to be something that nothing else was capable of doing. So it wasn't just by luck that we happened to be able to put out a battery. This was specifically developed for the problems that we're seeing today, to deal with those problems in a way that no one else was. So it wasn't about repurposing something that existed. It was about developing something new. And that was the ethos behind everything that we do, is about making it easier and safer for our end customers, whether it's a firefighter, whether it's a person using our all-in-one small bottle, or whether it's someone taking bulk from us to put into a fire truck. It was really critical. And it works in two ways. So the traditional fire triangle, the 3-pointed fire triangle, not this tetrahedron that people start talking about, but the traditional fire triangle, let's keep it simple. Heat, oxygen, fuel. Pretty much every other product in the market deals with the oxygen. Cover it in something, stop the oxygen getting to it, and that puts the fire out. That's true. If it's a bit of wood, if it's some gasoline, if it's a battery, that doesn't work. You can't put a blanket over the top and hope that no oxygen gets to it because it's generating its own oxygen. So the battery was always going to be having fun underneath that blanket, and you can't see it. So LifeSafe product is about remove the heat, stage 1. Stage 2 is prevent the battery from generating any of its own oxygen. So we take that capability away from the cathode by stopping it doing what it's desperately trying to do. So our fluid stops the molecular level of creating oxygen in that battery. So you don't have any heat, you have no oxygen, you've just got a battery. And that's the difference of our fluid in terms of how it tackles and attacks that really difficult lithium battery fire.
And what makes the lithium-ion battery fire so dangerous in and of itself? And were you guys just like sitting there watching a Tesla burn one day and like, hey, I know a salt that could, like in your, like it just was like, eureka, like I can, like, how did that happen?
We spent tens of thousands of pounds on batteries, setting them on fire, seeing what happened, not putting them out. What actually happened to that battery? I mean, what happens with water? Oh, it gets worse. Wow, this is fun. It was quite good fun because it's just stuff exploding everywhere, and guys like setting fire to stuff, love setting fire to stuff. Then we started to look at what we had in our chemistry of our existing products and what does that do. And then the two founders of the business were really starting to look at how the chemistry works and what the chemistry does as it's heating up and breaking down. And that was the real secret in terms of how our fluid, the way the chemistry was changing the molecular structure of heat and oxygen, just really was that eureka moment of like, whoa, actually, it's out. Look, it's out and it's not reigniting. Look, we can smash it around and it won't blow up again. Yeah, and that's what it was. And lots of tests, we left on tests for 72 hours, not 20 minutes, which seems to be this sort of magic number that people 20 minutes is okay, right, we're all done, thanks everyone. Look at the 25 minutes later it's blowing up again
because we've had batteries
leave, the demo's over.
We've had batteries reignite a week afterwards.
Exactly. So 72 hours, give it a really big shake and then put it back on a time-lapse camera for another 36 hours with thermal imaging, no heat. Do you know what, we've got something here. So we, like you guys did, for us first we were testing it to try and break it. And that's why I was talking to Jake yesterday. He loved the fact that we said, here's some product, try and break it.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa.
That's one of the things we're finding out there is that a lot of the, if a manufacturer comes to you with a lot of guardrails, like it only works at these state of charge or these types of batteries, and it has to be at this elevation, and you got to put this much I of Newton on it, and it's like, there's an awful lot of rules here. You guys did not have any rules when you gave it to us.
No, and it's terrifying. I tell you, it was almost as terrifying as our first meeting. But just giving our baby over to someone and say, "Try and break it."
Yeah.
See what you do.
One of the things, like and Amy, I we've talked about this, is like the environment, right? Because that's one of the things is like, manufacturers say, well, you can't use water because then the water becomes a hazmat and it's an environmental problem. And this also seems to check that box where it's environmentally friendly.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we find so helpful and that most of the companies that we're working with are most concerned about. Nobody wants to pollute the water tables and those types of things.
Right.
And, it's a real challenge. And so this is an awesome solution that is environmentally friendly, and we're very thankful for that.
And we're not just looking at a limited product of lithium-ion batteries. Like in the grand scheme of things, this solution covers the entire gamut of things that we can put out.
Yeah, you've got a multi-purpose fluid that allows It allows the user, whether it's a domestic consumer or whether it's somebody working in a factory, not to worry about which extinguisher, which fluid do I use, am I going to use the right one? And actually, we know that a fire doubles in size every 30 seconds. Time is really critical. Deal with it quickly, deal with it fast. You don't have to think about which fluid with our product. It's just use it and it will work. It's so simple.
And that's not just like you guys saying that, right? There's independent people that have like certified it.
Absolutely, and we don't put we won't and would never bring a product to market that isn't tested and isn't proven by independent third parties. It's part of who we are. We don't put stuff in the market that doesn't work.
And in the United States, we're looking at Class A, B, and for Great Britain, you have a totally different certification process, right?
So it's still A, B. It's F for cooking grease. It's K in the US. And we have a lithium standard as well in Europe, which has been tested to that lithium standard.
So you have a certifiable body that says this works for lithium-ion batteries.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
One of the things I like, and when we were talking offline, is that, like, you know, it comes in all different sizes, right? So it comes in like a little bottle up to like these totes, right, where you can put it on the back of a truck. And why the hell would we need these little squirt bottles? I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys have seen it. All these kids are doing these stupid TikTok things, jamming paper clips. And I was talking to my sister-in-law, and she said we had 2 happen in my school. And I'm like, okay, now that little canister, you know, the little squirt bottle, that would be handy in a classroom or something like that, because, listen, kids are idiots. They are what they are, you know?
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, that it's not what it's in necessarily, it's the fluid. So the fluid, as long as you can get the fluid onto the bit that's burning, the fluid will do the job. So whether it's in a small bottle, whether it's in an extinguisher, whether it's in the back of a fire truck, whether it's in a bucket, because you've got a load of it that you can just tip onto the fire, actually it comes down to what the fluid is doing, and it's how you can get it on the red stuff. So, and that's the really important piece. So a really handy small bottle, which can sit in a house, it can be on the end of a manufacturing line, it can be on everybody's belt in a factory or an office, it can sit next to the desk because everyone's charging their phones. The first thing they get, let's use the free electricity, charge the phone in the office so I don't charge it at home. You know, you've got all these batteries, so you've now got some solutions that fit every walk of life.
Yeah, and mentioning the school, we have a specific solution for that. We've called it an emergency response kit. It's a 5-gallon container, and in that we have all of the personal protective equipment you need to be able to be around it, basically. So it's got goggles, it has a respirator, it has gloves, yep, exactly, and a little suit with it for 2 people, and it includes a mini shovel. So the beauty of it is it also has the small bottle to spray on it. You take the shovel, you're able to just dump it in the bucket, and then you pour a gallon of the fluid on, put the lid on, you're good to go. And we've had several schools in the local area that have purchased those, primarily because of all of the TikTok stuff that's been going on.
Yeah.
All right. I've got a question for you. When we were doing the testing on these, and I really kind of want to understand how this happens, and I've been waiting for this moment to kind of ask. One of the things that we did was we took lithium-ion batteries, we put it in a car at a scrapyard. That scrapyard car was filled with combustible material, like they call it fluff. We lit the batteries on fire. The batteries were going good. The product went onto the batteries and the car, put the fire out. There was one little area inside of the car that the fluid wasn't able to touch inside the seats, and that area reignited. As that fire in the seat started to grow, it was impinging on the batteries and the fluff. Now, I will tell you, I was totally skeptical with everything, but one of the things was you guys are saying it keeps the batteries, it keeps things from reigniting. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I got a bunch of fluff here. It's all wet. Of course, it's not going to reignite. But the fire from the seat ended up getting so hot and grew so much that it dried off the lithium-ion batteries that had not yet gone into thermal runaway. And I sat there with the camera because I was like, this is the moment. Like, this is the moment where I get to call them out on it. And we let that fire go and go and go and impinge on the additional cells, and they never lit up. How does that happen?
Because I didn't know where this was going. I had no idea where this was going.
Like, I I can't wrap my head around how that fluid, having been on the batteries, then prevents it from being damaged by heat later on.
I think the chemistry in the fluid is carried by the water in the fluid. Okay, so the water is a carrier. Okay, pretty much like a foam is carried by the water that it's induced into. But what you're getting with our fluid is that it leaves that chemistry behind once the fluid is evaporated. So, and that's shown incredibly with our wildfire product, that you can pre-treat an area, the liquid can dry off, and it leaves behind a safe residue that is now a retardant layer. So you can make things fireproof, as you saw at the scrapyard, that even when the liquid's evaporated, the chemistry remains. And that chemistry is what's doing the job of preventing any reignition and keeping things safe. So it changes, again, that concept of the water is carrying the chemistry. That's it.
I was talking to Jake about that because you said that you guys have a product called the Wildfire Pro. I was intrigued by that. It's almost like, because when you think about these wildfires that go, they're usually applying like a gel or a foam to exposures, and it's got to be wet, and it's got to be done almost immediately before that fire is coming at you, which is dangerous as hell. I mean, those guys that do wildfires, I tip my hat at them. But now you can apply this stuff like earlier in the day and get to safety and still have...
Up to 14 days ahead.
Up to 14 days ahead. That's I can tell you, I really saw it happen firsthand, because not only did the fluff, the combustible material, never reignite again, it just kind of melted, like the petroleum it just kind of melted and then pooled down on the bottom of the car, but the batteries never reignited. I was absolutely taken away by that. Absolutely taken away. It was really, I was sitting there with my phone, like recording it right over it, and the guy's like, you should be stepping back a little. I'm like, no, I gotta be right here. I gotta see what happens. This is the moment I've been waiting for.
Okay, so on the video you had the crowbar pulling the batteries apart.
Yes, probably. Yeah, because I was shuffling everything around, and I was like, I'm gonna get these to reignite if this is the last thing I do.
I was on live FaceTime with Rick. I was live with him, and I'm like, what's that guy doing?
Yep, that was me. But
Amy,
you guys
you've done some testing. I mean, like,
yes.
What have you found?
Yeah, with the Wildfire Pro fluid, we have done a ton of testing, and we're fortunate that we have great relationships with local fire departments, and Wisconsin's a big farming community. So we've done some test burn and training burns of about 30 acres where the fire department wanted to be able to burn this area that the farmer was looking for, basically. But they wanted to protect some of the structures. There was a hunting shack, which is important, and there were 3 trees that we needed to make sure stayed safe. So we were able to put in our pickup truck a 250-gallon tote with the 1 to 10 mix, and went out there, and we were able to fill the backpacks that the firefighters were carrying, and also the UTV. So they had some additional fluid on their UTV, and they went and pre-treated right before the burn started. We did get some live footage of it, and then we sent a drone up, because of course these burns start at night, right? And it was like 40 degrees out. But we put a drone up the next day, and the hunting shack and the trees were perfectly fine. The ground was burnt around it. So it was absolutely amazing. I haven't seen anything like it. And we test every product before we would ever, put it out for sale. And we have tested this Wildfire Pro fluid, I can't tell you how many different ways. And it just works fantastically.
That's one of the things. Like, there was recently a post, and the keyboard commandos come out and they're like, "Well, proof. Give me the testing." And I can't find it. We've always said it. We were talking this morning. Me and Mike were talking about this. Like, is that we're not even saying myth bust it yourself. Like, it impressed me and Mike. We get tons of products. You would be amazed at how many people are saying that their products are due, and we get it and we test it, and 95% of them suck. We haven't been able to break this one, so test it yourself. That's all I can say.
Really didn't.
I think we now need to agree, stop trying to break the product.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, in the one that there was the lithium ion battery, the car, the EV battery that we had that lit up, and even with the difficulty of getting, the water through the case, right? We were very limited getting the water through the case. We had knocked down the fire, had put additional, fluid into the case, found little cracks and crevices, and got it in there, and it started really kind of smoking again, and I was like, that's it. This isn't going to work. Like this is, and I waited and waited and waited. And for sure, the smoke got stronger and stronger. And then all of a sudden it just died away, and it never came back, and it never reheated, and it never did anything. And I just kind of scratched my head in disbelief multiple times testing this
They
out.
had gag batteries, I bet.
You never let us get away with that.
Yes,
we are
actually,
also a battery company. We send out really dumb batteries to people.
The first one that we tried, that was not, it was set up by somebody that was not part of any of our organizations, ended up being a nickel cad battery, so we couldn't even light it off at first. They had to bring in the second and third battery afterwards. So yeah.
Well, we get calls all the time to try and test something, and we do. So road flares. Apparently in soccer, sometimes people will bring road flares in and want to be able to light them in the stadiums. And so we got a call from a safety perspective saying, do you have anything that would help us with this? So we tested it on road flares, and it puts them out, believe it or not, with the bottle.
That's hard. That's not easy.
It is.
I know it is.
Just have a product that works, and everything else falls into place.
Well, all right. So I'm sure there's going to be a buzz. There's going to be people that are looking to find out more. Find out. And again, I'm not. They're going to have to get samples or whatever they are going to do, or see stuff. Where do they find the information? Who do they contact? How do they get more stuff?
Amy and the team at FSS.
Yep. So it's contacting us at Fire Suppression Solutions. We have everything in stock, basically. We have a website, firess.us, and everything from the small bottles all the way to the 6 liters, bulk fluids, everything's available. So we have experts ready to answer questions and find the right solution for what people are looking for. We just don't want to sell anybody whatever product. We want to make sure we understand what the needs are from the customer, and that we've got the right solution to be able to provide to them. So, which
once again is refreshing.
Yes.
They usually just try to jam it down your face and just say, take 2 pallets. Just get out of here.
No,
wow. No. Good stuff. I appreciate it. You guys...
thank you for taking the time to come on and share this information, because I think a lot of our end users are going to be very surprised by the product.
Good. And this was much nicer.
This was. We have a much more enjoyable relationship now.
So in the show notes of the episodes, we'll put all the links, and if people request more things, we will be adding to the show notes. It will be a dynamic document. So if you're looking for something, let us know. We'll get that information. We'll keep it all together in there and on the website and stuff like that, so you can get more information, contact information, and all that jazz. So thank you, both of you, to coming on and sharing this. This is good. I think it's going to move the ball for the community.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.